Howdy, folks. Welcome on into the rink here tonight at the MasterCard Center as we get you set for CWHL Live. It is the anthems going on right now.
They started very quickly today.
Kind of a little rude to keep my hat on, but I guess for this shot I'm going to have to right now. Nico Cardarelli, Sasky Stewart here. It's going to be a fun game tonight, Sasky.
It's going to be an excellent Halloween hockey game today.
As we got the Toronto Furies and the Brampton Thunder going at it here.
I'm impressed for how long you can carry on this cowboy accent, actually.
Well, I was going to say I'm going to have to drop it pretty soon here, definitely before the puck drop goes, because I could not do play-by-play in that voice. Could you imagine?
I don't think I could. I mean, it would be great, but maybe not.
Welcome into the ring here. We'll give you a proper enthusiastic welcome. As you can tell, it's a little conflicted there on what to do, but you know what? Housekeeping is out of the way. We're going to have a great hockey game coming up.
We started the broadcast and the anthem started at approximately the same time. So you're a bit like, am I going to be patriotic or am I going to set the scene for what is going to be an excellent hockey game this evening, Nico?
And ultimately it is going to be a fantastic game this evening as we get a shot of Liz Knox starting for Brampton, and there you see Sonia Vanderbleek between the pipes for the Furies, so should be a great goaltending battle. Of course, these two one-time teammates with the Brampton Thunder, so these teams very familiar with each other, and Sasky, you know very well the head-to-head last year, one team dominating over the other.
Brampton went 6 for 6 last year. They swept the entire season series against the Furies, and this weekend we're seeing them here at MasterCard and tomorrow out in Brampton in a bit of a home-and-home. And the Furies are looking to get that change started right away. They want to get out and continue the unfortunate streak Brampton have had so far this season.
Well, the Furies have been killing it to a certain extent. You got to think they like their start. Brampton hungry for a win. They're still looking for their first of the year. Everyone's got their buckets on now, and we're ready for puck drop here inside the MasterCard Center. You're watching on CWHL Live. Brampton skating from right to left, donning the predominantly white sweaters, a little bit of black and silver trim there. Toronto wearing their home blues as the Thunder feed it in across the mouth of the goal, but no one there to get a touch on that saucer pass. They keep it in as Rebecca Vint lets that shot go off a Furies defender and up and out of place, so that'll stay inside Toronto's zone. Quick start there from the Thunder, and you got to think they want that here this evening again. They've had a bit of tough luck in terms of their season opening and maybe deserving more than the 0-3 record they have.
Yeah, you're talking a team who's played the two teams ahead of them in the standings 4 games straight to start the season.
Toronto break out of their own zone here. Lots of rookies on the ice for both of these teams, and of course some notable players not on the ice this evening as they've been called up to duty with Team Canada for the Four Nations Cup tournament as Toronto apply a forecheck here against Brampton. They get it to center, but not much further. As Toronto will square up here, dump it in, and Brampton, led by Sarah Edney, will break out. Makes the pass over to Vint. Vint will just dump it in wide of the cage. McParland gives chase. She hacks it behind the net where one of the rookies on Brampton, McCauley, gives chase. She has it on her stick, shields it from the Toronto defender, poked away from her, and now Cava with a chance to clear it. She clears it. Well, I thought it went into the Furies bench. Maybe not. It's whistled down. We'll have a face-off with 18:40 left in the first. Get a look at one of the rookies there for Toronto, number 44, Jenna Dingledine, as Campbell will corral it off the face-off. Carly Campbell leads the breakout. Nothing doing that time. Well, she gets it back from Becca King on the stick of Erin Zach, who floats that one in on Liz Knox, and an easy save there for the veteran goaltender. Liz Knox gets her first touch of the puck, and of course, if you are watching on YouTube, Sasky, we want to make sure people get in touch with us because you've got it up on your screen. We can see the comments.
We apologize for the slight delay getting the broadcast there. We had a few minor technical difficulties. Thank you for joining us. Luckily, we have no goals yet. Nothing has happened so far.
No goals, no penalties.
We're all good.
Couple small saves. Still
Unfortunately, you did miss our excellent Halloween costumes that started this broadcast. So we are a little bit saddened by that.
Here comes Brampton. They're trying to make sure their fans aren't sad for long, trying to create some offense here. Passed out to Brown along the near hash marks, back to the point. Williams thought about the shot, gets it back to Brown. She banks it off the boards, as that one's attempted to be centered in front, but Erin Zach breaks that up, and then the aforementioned Dingeldine will clear it out. Hardwick gives it away. That's a bad giveaway. There's a shot. Goes wide of the cage as right off the stick of Tanis Lamoureux. Maybe should have done better with that opportunity. A bad giveaway that Brampton will want to make sure they tighten up on. There defensively they do. They break up the centering attempt. Toronto pins them in their own zone for the time being as Jessica Hartwick has it on her stick. She plays it off the glass and down the length of the ice. No icing here, so Vanderbleek leaves it for her D. Gaskin. Quick touch pass. Toronto trying to regain it through the neutral zone as Cava backhands that one into Brampton territory. Knox out of her net to play it to Fielding Montgomery. Montgomery gives her player a bit of a lift and fall, but nothing happening. Play continues on. Suzuki there as the buzzer has inadvertently gone off and play will halt, but Senna Suzuki, a good chance to see her in action here this season.
Well, as far as I'm aware, this is Senna's first game back with Toronto this season, and that's a great addition to a team that's lost a few on the back end with Four Nations. They are missing rookies Renata Fast and Erin Ambrose this weekend, and obviously next weekend's off.
Yep.
But Senna being back is a great addition. We're not quite sure what actually happened with the buzzer there, but the looks of it, the referees are just double-checking to make sure we're not going to have...
I got it.
What is it?
Halloween spook.
Halloween. There is definitely
trying to scare a couple of fans.
There's definitely something in the wires. The referee's coming over, explaining what has happened, and we are about to be back underway here in Toronto.
We are about to be back underway and off the face-off. Well, the Furies had it. They end up losing it as Montgomery. You talk about players who will potentially need to step up with the absence of some key players from each team. Fielding Montgomery is one of those players who had a great season last year, but hasn't quite put up the production she did so far this season as Kelly Terry centers it in front and then crashes hard into the end boards. Actually, it was Fulton who took the dump. There's a shot. Big bounce off the end boards, and Fulton can't tap it past the desperate diving Knox. Toronto so close to getting the lead. Kelly Terry continuing with the pressure. Is nice play at the blue line, keeps it in temporarily, but now Brampton will have a chance to break out. So Saskia, our first quality scoring chance there. Brampton, again, could be a little sharper defensively, maybe.
Yeah, I mean, Brampton is missing two big defensemen in Jocelyn Larocque and Laura Fatino.
Yeah.
And, I mean, you're missing a lot of leadership and a lot of solid defense there. And that's been Brampton's, if anything, their weakness so far this season. They've taken a few penalties. Their defense has been a little less than tight. And hopefully they get that back. It was one of the things that made them such a great team last year.
Yeah, it's a good point, especially the way they've opened up this year, maybe allowing a few more goals than they would like on this season. Again, just a tough start schedule-wise for them, and doesn't get any easier here tonight as Jess Vella breaks in. That attack is snuffed out, at least for the time being, as Jess Jones, one of those offensively gifted players from Brampton. Well, can't quite break out the zone. Now they do as Edney with a good second effort. Make sure Brampton relieves the pressure. Toronto dumps it right back in, no icing, so it'll be picked up by Taylor Woods, who lifts it for a long outlet pass, but it's broken up by Stewart. Good persistent effort there by Dania Simmons. Or check that, that's 9, not 19. That's Kristen Richards coming up with a good play. Now here's a 2-on-1 for Toronto. Terry feeds it in front. Nice play by Prevost to get it from the skate to the stick to the net, but Knox right there with the save.
Look, with Natalie Spooner being away this weekend, and also Janelle Kohanchuk,
Yep.
and the offense brought by Fast and Ambrose, the team are really going to be looking to players like Kelly Terry and Emily Fulton to bring it this weekend, and we can see so far they're doing so.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a really nice, I guess it's a nice problem for head coach Summer West to have in terms of now the plethora of offensive options she has when the Furies are at full lineup. Here's a chance for Brampton. Richards lifts that one just wide of the glove hand. And now Prevost tied up a little bit. She fights through the check and will lead back the other way for Toronto. Here comes Carolyn Prevost, scored the OT winner here in the home opener, but that time nothing doing. Knox will hold it for the face-off.
Now, a little bit earlier you mentioned Jess Jones, who looks to be a real offensive threat for Brampton. But I don't know if you saw it this week, but we had a little bit of fun with the CWHL Twitter and some amazing punts. We'll talk about them
Yes.
in the next whistle.
Well, a key part of our roles here on the broadcast is making sure we're prepared, and I am more than impressed with your preparation. Here's a chance for Brampton as they break in. Nothing doing as Caitlin Tugas was trying to center it in front, and good defense there from Toronto, up and out of play. So we'll have a stoppage, but your prep in terms of your puns list is amazing.
Our puns list, I must admit, I tasked both the internet and one of my interns with coming up with these puns, and we have some amazing ones.
So make sure you stay tuned for those, because trick or treat, those will come out throughout the broadcast, and make sure you get in touch with us as well through social media as that puck rolls in on Vanderbleek. She'll hold it there, so the face-off will stay inside the Fury zone with 13:55 remaining here in the first. Well, you can get in touch with Sasky and I through Twitter on social media. You can tweet Sasky at Sasky Stewart. You can tweet me at Bro Behind the Mic. Of course, give the league and the teams a follow, because that's ultimately what's most important, to stay up to date with all the breaking news and scores and all the latest CWHL
I mean, I talk
highlights.
a lot about it, but the CWHL account is definitely what you want to go for the latest news.
Absolutely. Edney picks up that loose puck and brings it into the zone for the Thunder. Shields it from the check of Suzuki. Now Jones has it. Goes back to the far side. She's checked closely by Vela and Suzuki, and it's now onto the stick of Vint, who tried to walk out in front. Jones plays it back to the point. There's a shot from Simmons. Rebound, and it's corralled by Cava, but not cleared out of the zone. That was a good blast from the point by Simmons, and Brampton will look for more of those shots, especially from distance. You get a chance for a redirection. You never know what's going to happen. A screen in front, it was a good shot. And there's a bouncer from distance that Knox makes sure she holds on to. And
I'm always impressed when the goalies can pop it out of their pads like that. I mean, I played goal for maybe 10 years, and I'm pretty sure I could never do that at any point in my playing career.
It's funny how it would pop off the mesh behind you as the force, and I'm the same as a goalie. I'm not saying it's you specifically.
No.
But yeah, I totally know what you mean. I've never seen your game tape, so it's not a reflection on you.
It's not impressive.
Well, Brampton tried to create. Montgomery couldn't quite corral that centering attempt, and here comes Vanessa Sperato back the other way for Toronto. She tries to feed it in front off a skate, and then Knox makes sure she dives out to get that one. Strong in her lower body positioning, Liz Knox holds it for the draw.
It's great to see Liz Knox getting to see some game time. And this last year, at the start of the season, we saw kind of her and Hal being that kind of dynamic duo, which then Hal really took over and really owned that role. And we've seen her be rewarded with that, with some time with Team Canada. But it's still great to get to see Liz Knox in games like this. Yeah,
absolutely. She's always a joy to watch. And again, it's great to see Erica Howe representing, as so many CWHL players are. Nice diving attempt there by Richards to get it back in front to King, but didn't quite work out on that attempt. But yeah, it's great to see Liz Knox back between the pipes, and again, because Erica Howe playing with Team Canada and so many CWHL ladies getting the call up to the national team, really great representation.
I believe it's 21 out of 24.
It's quite a compliment to the league, quite a statement, as Toronto don't like that continue on. I thought it stayed in the zone. Tough to say. May have been offside. Either way, no danger ultimately as the shot goes wide. And Kelly Terry now with the long outlet pass to Prevost. She dumps it back. There's a shot, and it goes wide of the cage. But again, Saskia, as you talk about the importance of Emily Fulton, she's starting to create chances. That last attempt, high and wide, but you got to like where she is there. Low slot, getting that shot off. Zach tries to pick it up for Toronto, nothing doing, and now Suzuki will battle in there against Haley Williams. Good job by the rookie to go in there against the veteran Suzuki, and Brampton come out with it. There's a shot from the point, knocked down by Williams. She scoops it at the goal, but that's an easy save there for Vanderbilt. Face-off coming up to the left of Vanderbilt here, and bit of a scrum off the draw. It's kicked back to the point. Simmons plays it to the far hash marks against the boards. Lots of physical play there as these regional rivals, certainly no love lost, even though there's a lot of, I guess,
Friendship.
Yeah, friendship, that's true, because again, the players are very close off the ice, but a lot of new personas in the rivalry now, and the story is that shot from the point. Easily deflected wide of danger, but I think again you still sense that Toronto-Brampton rivalry, even though there's so many rookies out there.
I mean, you're looking at two teams with between 10 to 15 rookies together,
Yeah.
and that's a lot of new names and faces. And obviously a lot of these players have grown up together in the GTA region, but when you put on those jerseys, you are Toronto, you are Brampton, and all bets are off.
Brampton keep it in the zone as Jones corrals it behind the net. Bit of a hasty centering pass, and they can't really make much out of it as Hartwick keeps it in at the line for now. Good play to get it down low to Jones, who centers it in front. Vint, it's still loose. Jones picks it up. Nice high backhander, but nothing doing that time really, as it was, would have been knocked down with a high stick, trying to spin out of the corner. Nice attempt by McParland. Bad clearing attempt, picked off by Vint. There's a backhander right on, and nice save by Vanderbleek with pressure on her. A couple of ex-teammates exchange pleasantries there.
There's not a whole lot of love lost right there. Jess Jones and Rebecca Vint are right in Sonia Vanderbleek on this call. They're not going to give her much space to make that save, as you can see, but Vanderbleek does really well, reads the play, makes the save.
Brampton keep it in, pressure though, and it'll be tapped out by Julie Allen. Becca King, make sure that one gets in deep, and Toronto will scoop it up. Shannon Molson will lead the breakout. She's checked closely by King, so she'll have to regroup behind her own net. It'll give me a chance to remind fans that CWHL Live is empowered by Hilberg and Burke, proudly supporting the Canadian Women's Hockey League and empowering women across Canada, one sparkle at a time. We appreciate their support and, of course, all the continued corporate support, all our great partners league-wide. As Toronto will dump it in and get some line changes here with 9:08 remaining in the first. Scoreless game so far on CWHL Live between the Toronto Furies and the Brampton Thunder. Here's a break for Brampton. Vint forced wide with the backhander, but the chance doesn't quite evolve the way they would have liked. Nice play by McParland to knock it down. It stays in the zone, and just as quickly it's knocked out. A chance now for Fulton. She's got Prevost heading to the net. Fulton tries to feed it through. That's tremendous defense there from the rookie, Shannon McCauley. I actually checked that. That was 20. Jessa McAuliffe, not McCauley, and she's not a rookie either, as Brampton will get called for icing. But either way, that's great defense breaking up that chance from the Furies.
One thing that is special about today's game, and that we would be remiss not to mention, is that Summer West is coaching her 100th game in the CWHL today. And that makes her the first female coach to get to that 100-game mark in the league. And that's something, as someone who works for the league and as someone who's just a fan of the league itself, that is a massive moment for us. You know, women in coaching hasn't always been a big thing. And to see someone like Summer, who's made such a contribution to the league, get to that 100-game mark, well, we hope she's the first of many.
Yeah, it's really quite an amazing accomplishment, and congratulations to Summer and the whole Furies franchise as a hand pass knocks this play down. You're right, hopefully it's the first of many female coaches down the line, but it's a great testament of her legacy as well. Clarkson Cup winner, everything she knows is just
You just have to think about the number of games that is. We're talking
Yes.
about a 24 or less game season for 9 seasons. That's nearly half of the league's history. Summer West has been behind the bench of the Toronto Furies.
And we wish her at least another 100 games going forward as well.
We'll keep it for another 100, I'm sure.
Toronto applies some pressure, and it would be interesting to talk to her too, to get her perspective, I guess, about all the players she's had the, opportunity to coach over the years, whether it's veterans like a Natalie Spooner or.
If any of you journalistic types out there are listening, and I know definitely that the likes of Hannah Bevis and Kate Samini will be, there's a story for you, and I would love to read it. That is, she's coached some incredible players and done some incredible things with this league.
It's just interesting now with all the rookies, and here's a chance for Brampton as that shot off the stick of Nicole Brown. Talking about rookies, close to a goal there for her. Brampton continue with the pressure, and they knocked that one over top the cage as Melissa Rongsberg getting her first good chance of this contest. 7:07 left in the first here. Vela now breaks out. That long pass out of the reach of her teammate, and icing here against Toronto. It's just interesting now for Summer having so many rookies on the team, such a mix of, she's had players who have won Olympic gold. She's had players coming right out of college hockey.
You're talking about a team, particularly that's very young on defense.
Yes.
You lost Alyssa Bolden and Michelle Bonello, who retired during training camp this year. And that's a big difference. You've got a really different situation. But Toronto is a team with lots of young veterans. Natalie Spooner is going into her fifth year here in the CWHL. Like, she's been around for a while now. And it doesn't even feel like it.
Veteran, because exactly, it doesn't feel like it. But you're right. At this point, she's totally a vet.
Natalie Spooner is a long-term vet of this league now.
It's very funny. I think of that too sometimes. Well, here's a chance for another league vet as Prevost tries to break in, but someone who's been for Brampton equally as long, Dania Simmons, snuffs that out. Good break, though, and again, these, I'll call them secondary players, but support players coming up big here tonight as here's a breakout chance. McParland in all alone. Oh, what a save! To the backhand, she went better. Pad save by Vanderbleek. Pressure still on, they tip it towards the net, and the Furies goaltender makes another stop. It's still scoreless, and as it seems to be so many nights in this building, another great goaltending contest.
Well, the opening game in the season here, are we going to replay of this goal? And Vanderbleek just reads this perfectly. She waits, she doesn't commit, and she makes the save.
Oh, very good goaltending, and again, former teammates. These players know each other pretty well, so it'll be pretty tough to, beat the typical book on some of these players, especially goaltenders studying breakaways from key shooters like McParland. Perfectly read by Vanderbleek. She makes the save. Here's a chance now for Cava. She stick handles her way in, but gets stood up, and Toronto center it right on. Oh, Knox with a great save. Julie Allen right at the hash marks with the one-timer, but Knox right there.
With our first pun of the evening, we could call her Julie Allen, or we could call her Goolie Allen.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah.
Goolie Allen.
Yeah, look, I enjoyed that
Maybe
far more than I
that
should.
for a goal, though.
Oh, but what happens? Like, you don't want to waste that kind of punch.
That's
You
true.
got to go
No,
for it
that
when
was
you can.
gold. I'll give you that. So Goolie Allen with a great goal-scoring chance.
Nico, no one is having more fun than us this evening.
The best part of this is you're one of my supervisors, so as long as you're laughing at my dumb puns and stuff, I know I'm okay with this. As this one gets lifted down the ice, and icing, called as Campbell was hustling back to make sure the call was made. 5:35 left in the first.
It's okay. I think your job is safe. I definitely have no doubts on being a play-by-play commentator. It is a skill set that I am in awe of. And so don't worry, you're safe for at least another season.
I thought you were going to say at least another game.
We tend not to do mid-season changes.
Steve Mitchell chimes in, our great technical poobah, another period. Here's a breakout, 2-on-1. There's a shot right on, and again, Vanderbleek makes easy work out of a quality scoring chance.
Vanderbeek is a positionally very sound goaltender. She reads plays very, very well, and she relies heavily on being in the right place. This one here is just another great example of that. She takes it right in the chest, she reads it, it's an easy save for her.
Vanderbeek back in Toronto right now in this scoreless game as Kessler on the bench. Quality goaltending tandem for the Furies, and there's a long stretch pass as Lamoureux receives it, tries to feed it in front, but off the boot of the defender, up and out of play. So face-off coming up to the left of Liz Knox. Again, we talk about rookies, the new crop of players coming into the CWHL. We get a look at Erin Zach there as she gets set to take the draw for the Furies. Going in against Haley Williams, and one rookie swapped out for the other as Dingledine steps in now for Toronto. 44 taking on 77, and it's 44 who gets it back to the point. Suzuki lets that one rip wide of the cage, bouncing puck off the end boards. Cleared to the far boards, but not out. Suzuki keeps it in, and she has it in the far corner. Checked tightly, and all good play there as Lamoureux was covering the defensive position of Suzuki and then pinched at just the right time. Toronto keep the puck in the zone. This is great forechecking by the Furies. Can they capitalize? At least not right now. They can't. This one out to center ice and scooped up by the Thunder. Bouncing puck. Where is it? Oh, it sneaked past Vanderbeek. It was loose, but a quick whistle takes away a would-be goal from Tugis. Tough break there from Brampton, but you can understand the ref's position on that one.
I mean, we got another replay of it here. We see them, and so close, but the ref has to whistle that down completely.
Absolutely.
They've obviously lost sight of the puck. They're not sure what it is. The goalie is being pressured in that situation. Oh, and we have a penalty. I mean, in that situation, you almost have to take that penalty to kind of, I guess, keep that goal, keep the puck out of the net.
Yeah, absolutely. Ellis Stewart heads to the box. The Furies will be shorthanded, but you're right, Sasky. That's ultimately a penalty that saves. Well, it would be a goal if not, and Brampton's so close to striking. Let's see if they can here with the power play.
For the Toronto Furies here, however, we're talking about a team that is 100% on the penalty kill so far this season. And so
Kelly Terry breaks in here, picks up the loose puck, and she draws a penalty out of that. And you talk about them being good. Not only are they defensively good, we saw this last year with them, scoring shorthanded goals. Sasky, they have so many quick players that they have the ability to either get shorthanded offensive chances or get penalties, draw penalties back the other way.
You just have to look at the speed of someone like Kelly Terry. She can draw those penalties, and this is also a Brampton team that has struggled with penalties this season so far. They are the two penalty minute leaders for the league so far this year are both Brampton players. We're talking of players with 16 and 15 penalties so far in just 4 games. So Brampton have taken a lot of penalties and got themselves into penalty trouble so far. And I guess we see another example of this on the penalty against Kelly Terry.
And again, that's a really tough one from a Brampton perspective, because you're already on the power play. You don't want to even see that shorthanded opportunity develop. It maybe shouldn't have, but then to be forced basically to take the penalty and negate a 1-on-0 for Terry, just her and the goalie, leads us to 4-on-4 action now as Vanderbeek makes another decent save. The puck rolls out of the zone with 3:25 left in the period. As Brampton corral it now at center. Woods plays it off the far boards. Richards will smack it in. We've got another 35 seconds of 4-on-4 hockey here, and then it'll be an abbreviated power play for the Furies. As icing indicated, now waved off. Picking it up there is Taylor Woods. She skates by Allen, skates by Cava, makes the pass in front to Richards. Couple Furies collide. Richards still has it and lifts it high and wide of the blocker side, as it was Cava and Molson crashing into each other there. Maybe threw Richards off a little bit in terms of generating the chance. Cava gets the puck over to Allen. Toronto now on the power play, so Cava will bring it in along the near boards, takes it into the corner, centers it in front, Where is it? It's in the skates of Montgomery, and now it's picked up and cleared to center as Molson gets it here. Toronto with 2:18 left in the first and 38 seconds of power play time, brought in by Kelly Terry. Near side to Fulton. She tries to center it back in front, but that's broken up. Far side corner, Terry at the hash marks. Plays it down low, stepping in. Vela right off the mask of Knox, and that was a good save there. Lifted it high in tight. Just 15 seconds now left on the Toronto power play. Time for one last chance. Vela gets the touch pass from Terry. Fulton backs her up, but Brampton collapses. Oh, they can't find the puck. Centered again. It's loose, and Knox sticks her glove out to jump on it. That was a good play by the goalie. They needed that whistle. 3 seconds left on the Toronto power play. $1:42 left.
I
in the
like
first.
the moment just there that we saw. The goalie, Liz Knox, has got that whistle at a time they desperately need it. And you see her teammates skate over just then. You know, Caitlin Tugans give her a pat on the head there, show her appreciation for saving them in that situation. Always great to see.
Absolutely. On the PK, sometimes you need a bit of a break from the goaltender, and Knox helping her team out there. 3 seconds left on this Toronto power play. And again, make sure you stay tuned during the intermission as Sasky Stewart will be joined ringside with a player from one of the teams. And we'll actually have a good friend of ours as well, Paul Rosen, the former Team Canada men's sledge hockey goaltender, on during the first as well. So we look forward to chatting with Paul. $1:19 left here. Knocks out of her net to play it. Plays it right to Terry. Gets it back to the line. Bouncing shot. Went off a couple players, and now it's scooped up by Brampton as it'll be picked up by Richards. Cross center ice. Right in front of Toronto's bench. Molson takes it from her. Rings it around the far boards as we've got under 60 seconds left here in the first. Cava gets that pass right off the bench. Was looking for Prevost, but Prevost was breaking to the bench, and that led to the end of that chance. As Gaskin gets it from Molson. Right back to Molson she goes. Good stretch pass. Can Vela catch up to this? 38 seconds left. She gets it, but can't cut to the net. Plays it to the line. Gaskin, Allen. Good defense there from Simmons to drop down and break up the pass. Good secondary defense from McParland as she picks up this puck now with 20 seconds left. Feeds it to Jones. That shot attempt goes wide. McParland, 15 seconds, back to the point. Redirected wide of the cage. Lots of traffic in front. Brampton pressing. Time winding down. There's a good block shot. 8 seconds. That one goes wide. Desperation attempts, but nothing doing as the defense hold their own. Oh, doesn't quite clear the line. Vint with a good effort. Teams really playing right down to the final buzzer. But in the end, it ends 0-0 after 20 minutes. A good spirited first period of play sets up a great next 40 minutes of regulation, and who knows, maybe more. The last time we were here, we had some bonus hockey. We'll see how tonight goes. Toronto 0, Brampton 0. Make sure you stay tuned. We've got more action coming up here on CWHL Live.
When I was 7, I wore these gloves. They held this stick. Well, these skates carried me over the blue line. We won the championship, and now it's all yours. Cool. Oh, and this mouth guard. I'll get my own. Thanks.
The 5th season is when Spirit for the Game gets passed down. That's why we're proud to support over 5,000 teams.
Under forward, Jess Jones. Jess, you guys are missing 6 players this weekend. How do you kind of adjust coming into an important game like this with that many out?
We got a good squad in the locker room without them, so we're just trying to fight through it and work hard.
You have played Calgary and Montreal so far this season, and it's been a slightly less than ideal start. Why is it so important for you guys to come out in a game like this and really make a bit of a statement?
We got a young squad this year, a lot of newbies, so we're just trying to get everybody gelling together, work hard and have fun. Like, this is just a fun game. We're just trying to battle through it and get through it.
We're 0-0 after the first. What's kind of the keys to going into the next 2 periods for you guys?
Defense first and get pucks to the net. We got to keep shooting. We have a lot of girls that can shoot the puck, and we're just not doing it.
Thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
Nico Cardarelli, joined up here by a good friend, special guest, Paul Rosen. I guess I'll introduce you properly instead of the way Mark DeMontis would as a stain. This is the former national sledge hockey goalie of Team Canada, multiple medal winner, and overall just a good guy. Paul, we're happy to have you up here. Thanks for coming up here.
Thank you. Love to be here, and glad to do anything with you, Nico. You know that.
Well, it's always fun working with you, and we've had the pleasure of working together a bunch of times. And it's funny, this rink specifically, we both know pretty well. You were telling me about how you helped open up this rink, and I think our viewers would appreciate that. So
Yeah, this rink actually opened up. There was no stands, so imagine it's just a rink. They had no stands up yet. The Canadian sled hockey team was playing the American sled hockey team. It was a 2-game friendly, which for those of you out there, there's no such thing as the word friendly when the U.S. is playing Canada. We were not happy. We were not friendly. We played them. We opened up the rink. To see where it's come from that point to now, it's absolutely incredible to see the Women's Pro League and the lease practice here. It's the way it should be in a great city like Toronto.
absolutely, it's a great facility, and you talk about the game here. You're here as a fan tonight, so
Absolutely.
what are your thoughts of that first period of play, especially as a goaltender? Because we saw some pretty good goaltending there.
We did, and I think Brampton definitely has the play right now. They're all over Toronto. Little bias here because Sammy Joe Small, who was my goalie coach and a dear friend, we were kind of watching and critiquing the young goalie who I hear she is the 3rd stringer that's
For
playing right
Brampton.
now.
Miss
Yes.
Knox?
Yeah.
I guess technically on the roster, she's 3rd on the depth chart, but she's a bit of a veteran. She's played with the club before, probably treated as more of the backup, but
Right.
still something to prove for sure.
She made a couple real nice stops. I saw
Yep.
she tracked the puck really well,
Yep.
which is the new thing now. You have to track the puck.
Yes,
You don't track the
right,
puck, you're in
right.
serious trouble.
Of
So
course.
I was impressed. I'm a huge fan of the women's game. I've been hit in the head by some of the best women in the world.
By pucks.
By pucks. Well, you won't get into other stories here. It is Halloween. Yes, Jillian Apps drilled me in the side of the head once at Vicky Sanahara's goalie school. That I will never forget. That was pretty cool.
I could imagine
And I
Julie
have-
Baps can really let it rip.
Absolutely, I have trained with the great Billy Bridges for years. So
Well, and it's funny, you were talking about how Sammy trained you a little bit. I think I don't know if you want to tell the story. What you were saying. It was a great little story. I think we'll probably wrap it up after that. But
Absolutely.
again, your experiences with this rink. Talk about towards the end of your career and how Sammy helped you, or maybe she kind of tortured you a little bit.
Well, she did what I loved personally as an athlete with a disability who always wanted to be treated as an athlete. That's what Sammy did. She was a great goalie coach. She trained me the way she trained any able-bodied goalie. And she had this drill where we went post to post. If she put the puck in the net, I had to take my gloves off and I had to do pull-ups on the crossbar in full gear, strapped to my sled with my one leg. And the more upset I got, the more she tried to score to allow me to realize, listen, if you want to be the best, you think like the best, you act like the best, and then possibly you will be the best.
Well, to us, you're definitely one of the best. And before we let you go, Paul, tell us about the Rosen Report. Tell us where people can get in touch with you and follow some of the work you're doing.
Absolutely. The Rosen Report will start to air in the beginning of November on my YouTube channel, www.paulrosen.ca. You can just search me out in that. I think this internet thing is going to be huge one day, Nico. I'll even.
You think it's here to stay, eh?
I'll even end with this. The hat. It is here to stay, and anytime you can love the game of hockey, whether it's sled hockey, disabled hockey, able-bodied hockey, women's hockey, it's hockey.
Absolutely, Paul. Again, thanks so much for your time. Fans, we'll get you back to the rink for the second period here between the Toronto Furies and the Brampton Thunder on CWHL Live.
Kimmy, you do know that there's only 4 seasons, right?
Then how do you explain the way kids wish away the summer because we can't wait to play in the fall? Or how teammates often become best mates? Or how families happily vacation in Winnipeg in January because that's where the tournament is? So you see, Miss Woods, there is a 5th season, and it's the best season in Canada.
So you're talking about hockey.
Oh, it's more than just talking, Miss Woods.
Scotiabank is proud to support over 5,000 teams in Canada's 5th season.
Back underway for the second period of action here as the Brampton Thunder will have some trouble breaking out, and Toronto will attempt to capitalize. Preble right in on the fresh ice, though. She loses her footing, and here comes McParland back for Brampton. She stick handles, forced wide, slides it in front, but no one there to give it a tap, so Terry dumps it to Fulton, tries to get it back to her. A couple players lift sticks. It'll give Kelly Terry a chance to pick it up. Plays it to the point, no one there, so Campbell goes cross ice where Fulton will just have to dump it in. And 40 seconds into the period, Toronto will make their first line change here. With Jess Jones a chance to lead the breakout for Brampton. She makes the pass to Vince, who slowly enters the zone. Shot from distance, easily handled by Vanderbleek, and she'll hold that one for another face-off. And again, confident saves from Sonia Vanderbleek. During our little chat there, the goalie's ability to track the puck and positionally be sound. I think that stat that you referred to certainly backs that up. As talking about good positioning, Liz Knox right there to make a save for Brampton.
I actually find this really interesting to see when people track these kind of stats. Unfortunately, we're not at a point yet where we're able to get these fancy stats back. But it's always very interesting to see people's tracking of something like this, and also show that Sonia Vanderbleek is doing a really great job not only stopping these shots, but keeping the rebound and getting the whistle.
And that's it. There have not been a lot of secondary chances as Williams will hustle down the ice, but Stewart beats her to it, then gives it away, centered in front. Brown can't corral it, the bouncing puck. Dingledine loses her twig, and it's still in the Toronto zone now. It's out to center ice, and Zach scoops it up. Bit of a busted up play, but here comes Zach in. Backhander over top the net, but good chance out of nothing there for the Furies as we play just under 2 minutes here in the second period. Picked up by Brown. She's got a chance here. Shot right on, and again Vanderbleek, aggressive goaltending, out to cut down the angle, and once again, no rebound. Great save there from the Toronto goalie.
If you have been listening to us, we apologize for sounding a little quieter than normal, which is hilarious to anyone that knows me in person, because that's definitely not something that they're used to.
As off the face-off, Brampton can't quite hold it in the zone. They try to bring it right back in, but it's picked up by Campbell, and she tries to feed it over to Preble. Nice stretch by Fulton to hold the line. It gives Terry a chance to bring it in, but she's forced into the far corner. Back to the point. Molson spins away from the check of McParland. Molson lets it fly. Bouncer. Knox got a piece of it, and Now it's along the near boards where Brampton bank it off Campbell and into the Toronto bench. So that face-off will come outside the blue line with 17:38 left in the period. Saski folks who are tuning in on YouTube can also interact through the live chat, and we want to make sure they give us any questions or comments because, hey, we've both got it up and we can see the chat.
Questions, comments, thoughts, opinions. We've had several questions earlier today. One of them was, how many coaches in the CWHL have got to the 100-game mark? Summer West is the third coach to hit the 300. Oh, it's probably more games than we've actually had in CWHL history, the 100-game mark.
And again, a big night here for Toronto head coach Summer West, her 100th game. We wish her all the best going forward, as well as that shot. Vanderbeek easily steers aside. Brown keeps it in at the point where Edney has it. She lets the shot fly and she scores! Sarah Edney opens up the scoring. Brampton lead it 1-0.
That is a great goal from the player formerly known as the Purple Peril.
Yes.
We see that she's no longer, she's got rid of the purple this year, but we see this shot. She hammers it from the point. What a great defensive goal there. And it is 1-0 to get the second period very underway here in Toronto.
Well, the CWHL would like to thank Hilberg and Burke for their empowerment of CWHL Live and support of the CWHL and all its incredible athletes. And Sarah Edney, one of those incredible athletes, opens up the scoring here this evening off a blast from the blue line. And it's funny, their very first chance of the game was a blue line shot, and here they open up the scoring on a shot from the point. Toronto trying to respond as Cava fights off the check there. All over her back is Hartwick, and play continues on. Now she hauls her down. A little bit surprised nothing happens there, but play continues on. And there's the official goal announcement. Edney does get the credit for the goal, and Nicole Brown, the rookie, gets her assist. So Brampton strike relatively early here in the second period. And we'll maybe add more here as Jones brings this one in. She puts the shot on. Vanderbeek makes the save and then has to scramble to hold the rebound.
So that's Edney's second goal this season. And Brampton are a team that's typically had really good defensive scoring. You know, we look at players like Laura Fatino, Jocelyn Rock, you know, and Sarah Edney is another one of those kind of players who has done has been a great scorer for them.
Yeah, she's good at both ends of the ice, and it's so valuable to a team when you can create some offense from your defensive units. And again, we talk about the Four Nations players away, as here's a chance maybe for Vince. She puts it right on, big rebound, goes into the far corner where it's picked up by Jones. We get back to that point as it's feathered in front. McParland to Jones, the one-timer, great pad save from Vanderbeek. Big rebound, it's picked up for now by Brampton. They feed it far side to McParland. Jones pinching in from the point. They get it over to Vint, back to Jones. Oh, what a save! Full out splits, talk about athleticism. That looked to be a sure goal, and Vanderbeek takes it away. Here's Prevost back the other way.
And
now the net off the peg, so thankfully we get a break in the action, but Saski talking about some great chances there.
So to say, we don't have a puck in the net for Toronto, but we do have Caroline Prevost in the net, and you know what? It kind of counts. We're looking at this replay right here, and we're going to see this amazing save from Sonia Vanderbeek again. Hopefully we get this in before the play gets underway.
Let's keep going with this.
Let's keep going with this. You're going to see this full split glove save.
Incredible.
We see the Brampton player go tumbling over her. That is one of the saves of the year, and I am very glad we have that on video because we're going to make some gifs out of that.
Yes, that is going to be a highlight you will see over and over and over again, as there's a shot ripped right on net, but Liz Knox makes easy work of that one. It came off the stick of Carly Campbell.
This Brampton team has come out in the second period, as Jess said, and they are firing. They have been buzzing around that net. You see Rebecca Vint nearly in that blue paint, just on the edge of that blue paint. Every time someone's taking a shot, she's getting in the way. And we might we might see a few more goals if they keep this up.
Well, they'll try to create more offense here on this rush as it's led by Shannon McCauley. She puts it back to the point. Simmons under pressure, just feeds it behind the goal where Richards was checked, and now it's picked up by Zach, who clears the zone. Dingledine off the boards, and it'll now be picked up by Dania Simmons. Right to Richards. She's got King with her. Instead, Richards will take it in. She backhands it in now and forces Suzuki to make a play. She does. Suzuki gets around one check, now makes the pass right to Jess Vela. She'll bring it in the zone. Vela shields it, dumps it down, bumps into her own player, but it's okay. They're still in a good position to receive a centering pass should it get there. Julie Allen working hard, dumped her player, nothing happens. Play continues on. As scooped up here by Taylor Woods. She's pressured by Allen. There's a giveaway, and Knox had to make a save. Molson tees it up through traffic. Didn't quite get on net, though. Toronto kick it in deep as Vela. She got the puck away before she was hit. Dumped down to the ice. She pops back up quickly, and she's in front. Should the puck get there, they try to center it to her, but Brampton's defense there to break it up. Bodies all over the ice. Summer West looking for a call. Nothing doing. Toronto moving around. There's a shot. Good save from Knox. She had to kick the right leg out on that save. And now a little bit desperate. Brampton just clear the pressure. Under 13 minutes remaining. Fulton brings it in. Oh, bar down, but it stays out. What a release. That's one of the purest shots I've ever seen, and she knows that she got cheated a little bit on
Emily
that one.
Fulton cannot believe that was not a goal. She is grinning.
Whew.
That was as close as you can almost get to a goal without it actually being one. What a beautiful shot, however. The accuracy that Emily Fulton shoots with is incredible, and that is a great example of it.
The leg lift and the delay on it, too. I mean, that's so tough for the goaltender. And Knox with no chance gets bailed out by the iron, and you know she's going to tap that post at some point here as Brampton continued to hold on to that 1-0 lead. Campbell tees up the one-timer just wide. As Kelly Terry up there against her numerical counterpart. Vint dumped on the play, and she had her feet taken out from her, and again, no penalty called. So the refs certainly letting the ladies play here this evening as there's a long stretch pass. Prevost, though, had to hold the zone to not go offside.
The shot on Carly Campbell from the blue line is a heavy shot, and I would not want to get in front of that. But it's actually really interesting to look at the Toronto team and think just how much they've changed in the defensive lineup and how many of them have actually come out of Clarkson University.
Yes.
Campbell is one of 3 players that joined the Furies this year on the defensive end who came from Clarkson. You know, that's a big change to a lineup, and they must teach them to shoot down there.
Well, here's a player who can shoot, Fulton, but at the end of a shift, she'll just dump it in and peel off for a change. As Toronto trailing now 1-0 in this one as we approach the midway mark of the second period, and there's a good stretch pass. Tugas with the chance right on, crashing the net, and it's turned away by Vanderbleek as Williams crashing right down on her. Tugas with the good shot for Brampton. And it's interesting that essentially all rookie line that Tyler Fines has put together of Tugas, Williams, and Brown, and it seems to be effective as here comes Brown. She lets the shot go, bit of a rebound, but Vanderbleek right there to scoop it up, and again, the rookies getting chances here for the Thunder.
Sorry, I was slightly distracted for a moment there by the sheer force that player went into the back end of the box. It amazes me sometimes just how these girls bounce back. You know, these are incredible athletes, and they get up from hits into the boards like that. Like, it's absolutely nothing. I'm wincing. And they're like, yep, it's just another Saturday at MasterCard.
Hockey players are the toughest athletes out there. Don't ever. Well, you know what? Actually, you being Australian, you'd probably know. Rugby players might give us a run for their
rugby
money.
players are pretty
Right? I was
tough.
going to say there's less padding and maybe more physicality, but otherwise, don't let anyone tell you any different. Especially here in the CWHL.
Hockey players in the CWHL, these are some tough athletes.
Julie Allen tries to enter the zone. That's snuffed out, and Toronto will have to break out again here as Ellis Stewart back for the Furies picks it up with 10:20 left here in the period. 1-0 Brampton. Here comes Jess Vela. She tees it up, but right into the glove of Liz Knox, and then Vela crashes in down on her. You gotta like that if you're head coach Tyler Fines for Brampton. Jessica Hartwick, the rookie defender, standing up for her goaltender, not letting Vela get in the face there.
Look, particularly when you're a rookie, and we see this quite often in the NHL, one of the best ways to acclimatize yourself to a team, to become part of that team, is to be that person that steps in and says, no, I will not take this, and my goalie will not either. And that's what we're seeing in that instance.
And especially in a game where Laura Fortino, Jocelyn Larocque, not on the blue line tonight. Courtney Burchard, tough for Brampton. Good to see a young player like that stepping up.
Rookies who are taking up these minutes,
Exactly.
Players like Larocque and Fortino, and they may not get this chance again in a season, but it's a great way, and we're seeing this today on both teams, to really endear yourself to your coach and your teammates, and to make a name that when something happens to them or you need someone to step in, they know that you can do it.
Well, that's it. Down the stretch of the season, a crucial time, coaches will remember that. And there's a good shot off the stick of Melissa Rongsberg, and it's turned away by Vanderbleek. But yeah, absolutely, Sasky. It's a great point because coaches remember those kind of details. And both of these coaches here this evening, they'll remember how the rookies played tonight and the composure in which they showed. And very nice job in that last sequence by Hartwick. There they get the puck up to McParland as she stepped off the bench, but just bounced under her stick, so Molson scoops it up for Toronto with 8:57 remaining in the second. Nice move by Terry, but then she has her pocket picked. Vint blew a tire. She dumps it right in on goal, and Vanderbleek forced to hold that one.
As we've been talking about, both these teams are missing significant players, 4 from Toronto and 6 from Brampton.
Yep.
Away at Four Nations this weekend. Obviously, any team wants their best players available, but it's really interesting, and we're seeing this as we've talked about, just what the juggling creates and having to fill these gaps, and how that kind of changes the dynamic of a game.
It's a challenge for the players on the ice. It's a challenge for the head coach and the assistant coaches. It's a unique situation, and it really, especially this early into a season, it allows I guess the teams to get a good read for some of the depth that they maybe wouldn't be able to see otherwise. As we've got a delayed penalty coming up here. It's going to be against Brampton, and we may have a second penalty coming as well. We'll have to let the referee sort this one out, as there was a ton of physical play in the near side corner, and Emily Fulton slow to get back to her feet. She was hammered a couple of times. I think we'll see at least one cross-checking penalty to Jess Jones. That's the early indication. I think that'll be it here. So Toronto to the
That's the
power
only
play.
penalty we're seeing here. Jess Jones is going to go to the box for 2 minutes. The puck is back down in Brampton's defensive end. This is a big opportunity for Toronto.
And then Saskia, keep going.
I was just about to say, we're talking both of these teams are about the same on their power play record this year. Toronto are converting at about a 15% kind of rate. But Brampton are a little down when it comes to the penalty kill. Only about 1 in 5 gets past them at this moment.
Both teams 0 for 1 on the power play this evening. As it was a bit of an abbreviated power play. We're going to have some discussion here between Summer West and the officials. I'm not sure exactly what. Maybe feel like there could have been 2 penalties, and I understand that because at the end of that play, the other official put her hand up late as well. It will just stay the one. So Toronto to the power play. I want to encourage everyone to continue to keep commenting on the live stream as well through YouTube. Seeing some great commentary there. As there's a shot from the point. High and wide as Jones in the box for Brampton. Terry with the puck at the near hash mark. Step off the boards. Campbell gets it over to Cava. Down low to Terry. Cava looking for the return. They get it to Molson. Bouncing puck. She can't get it cleanly, and that'll give Montgomery a chance to dump it down, and she does. 30 seconds gone in the power play. Kelly Terry brings it in for the Furies. Shields it from one check behind the net. She's got Prevo, Molson at the point, near side, and Campbell far side. Still on the stick of Terry. Now she gets it to Molson. Down low. Cava back to Molson. 1:05 left in the power play. 7:38 left in the period. Cava down low to Terry, near side. Tries to center in front. Great defense there by Simmons, but they can't clear the zone. Richards gave chase defensively, couldn't come up with it. Now she gets another chance, but Campbell stands her ground, and again, Toronto hold the zone here on the power play. Brampton and Edney, the lone goal scorer in this one, finally dig it out, and Edney really frustrated there going to the bench. Prevo cuts to the middle, that one off a defender's shin pad. Fulton picks it up. 30 seconds left here on the power play. Campbell to Fulton. She steps in, face-off dot, goes far side to Suzuki. Off the boards to Dingledine. She's checked closely there, and the defender gets a stick on it. Corralled now by Fulton with 14 seconds left on the power play. Back to the point, Suzuki. Fulton. Time about to expire with the advantage. They go cross ice, but Campbell can't corral it. And Brampton, with the player coming out of the box, can they hit her with the pass? Richards, just out of the reach of Jones, takes a fortuitous bounce off the boards though, and Jones picks it up. Jones steps out of the corner to the backhand, puts it right on, but couldn't quite get the elevation she was looking for, and a good save.
I love a good attempt coming out of the box like that. I love a good breakaway like that. There is an absolutely beautiful, this is going to make me feel slightly old when I reference this, there's an absolutely beautiful Ilya Kovalchuk Atlanta Thrashers goal of that, and it's the absolute textbook in how to do it. And if she just got on that, it would have been pretty close.
You know, I don't think you're dating yourself if you say the Thrashers. If you say the Atlanta Flames, you might be dating yourself a little bit.
True.
But
that's a little before
I don't
my
think we're
time,
quite at that stage. Although I guess it has been a little while now that hockey's been out of the Thrashers Atlanta organization, so to speak. But funny enough, anyways. Let's try to look. Oh, there's a nice one-timer in front as Vint checked closely. Let's try to look through your punch sheet, see if we had anything for any of those players.
We
there,
have this punch sheet.
I'm ready to bust this one out.
Look, Caitlin Boogass
Right.
is one of my favorites. Unfortunately, Jamie Lee Rattray is away at Four Nations.
Yes.
But we need to bring her up just so I can get out my Jamie Lee Rattray. If you check us on Twitter, we had a great little graphic of her as a bat. One of my favorite things that we've done this week.
Well, and speaking of one of your great puns, Jess Bones crashes the crease there as Jess Jones giving some support there to her team.
Montreal is not playing in this game, but there were three great puns I must share from Montreal. We had Goulet Chou, we had Caroline Goulet,
But that was my favorite. I saw that one on
and we had Scary
Twitter.
Philippe Poulin. I've never been prouder than I was with those three puns.
I think Goulet was my favorite. I saw a whole bunch of those GIFs on Twitter, as you mentioned, and they were all fantastic. As we've got a stoppage here with 5:42 remaining in the period. But yeah, make sure you head over to the CWHL Twitter page and check out those great GIFs that Sasky's talking about there. As you're
Sometimes coming up with fresh content for social media can be a very difficult activity, and then some days you get ideas and you're like, wait, we're set for another week and a half.
Woods brings it into the zone here as she banks it off the end boards. Tugas with the shot. Oh, that almost got through the 5-hole, but Vanderbleek tightens up there, and Caitlin Boogas almost gets a goal.
Vanderbleek showed that 5-hole and shut it down very quickly. Hey, so Steve Mitchell, our terrific director here, has just given us Sonia Vanderschreek.
That's pretty good.
And that's a pretty good pun, Steve, for someone who just came up with that.
Well, Steve's quick on his feet, as are so many of the skaters here tonight, and we'll give him credit for that one, as the aforementioned Vanderschreek makes a good pad save. All right, let's get serious again.
Let's get
here.
serious.
I've dropped the cowboy accent. Let's give the credit. As here comes Aaron Zach into the zone for Toronto. Gets around one check, centers in front, but no one there to give it a touch. Molson rips one, and Knox with the glove up was able to make the save, but couldn't hold it. That's maybe the best shot I've seen from Shannon Molson this season, and she just missed out from scoring a goal there. In the skates of Brown, she Gets it out to center ice. Dingledine comes up with it, and now it's Gaskin for the Furies. Under pressure, she gives it away. Brown with a shooting opportunity, and it's turned away by Vanderbeek with 4:30 left here in the second period. Lamoureux dumps it in. And first on it are the Thunder as McAuliffe makes the pass over to Brown. Brown in the opposite direction of her teammate, but with icing waved off, it'll give Stewart a chance to lead the breakout here for Toronto. Alice Stewart spins away from one check as she makes the pass onto the stick of Victoria McKenzie. McKenzie lifts it into the zone. Chasing after it where Brampton can't clear it. Shot from the point from the stick of Campbell is knocked down, and McKenzie chases after it. Cava comes up with it. Tries to get it back to the point. Campbell can't quite hold the line, so Toronto will have to evacuate the zone on the delayed offside. That leads to a long stretch pass. Chance, there's a shot from distance. Good back check by Campbell as she got a piece of the shot attempt from McCauley, and ultimately the shot goes wide of the goal. McCauley's having a great shift right now for Brampton. That puck into the Brampton bench. 3:23 left in the second period. Gives us a chance to remind folks that this game has been empowered by Hilberg and Beck, proudly supporting the CWHL and all the incredible athletes. And again, we appreciate all the corporate support that the CWHL has. Of course, so many great sponsors and partners, and we'll make sure they get their dues before this one's done. But again, ultimately, we appreciate the continued support, of course, from Hilberg and Burke. As Toronto cycle down low here, Terry plays it over to Prevost, behind the cage to Fulton. Centered in front, but talk about good defensive read from Montgomery. She breaks that one up, and now she leads it out the other way for Brampton. Fielding Montgomery with the shot right on, and Vanderbleek makes sure there's no rebound.
Brampton's defense has been pretty solid so far this game. And we've obviously talked about the rookies not having Fratino and LaRocca in the lineup, and they've held themselves incredibly well, and they're starting to look like the Brampton defense that we got accustomed to last season.
Brampton, historically, I think they're known for being a tough, gritty team to play against. You talk about some of their discipline issues at times in terms of taking penalties. It's both a pro and a con, because you want your team to play tough and physical. You don't want them to be afraid to shy away from that tough style of play, but you want to toe that line.
Finding, as you just said, toe that line, about finding that edge, and
Oh, there's a cheap shot by Molson, and well, that's definitely over the line. You know, again, it's been a physical game, and there's nothing wrong with Molson and Vint going to the net, but no question, that was a little bit offside there by Shannon Molson. We'll have to see how it breaks down. But
unfortunately, in that situation, there was already a penalty being called against Brampton, and rather than get up and skate away, Shannon Molson unfortunately chose to retaliate there, and we see a situation where we're now waiting for the penalties to come up, so we're about to see if we're getting, not exactly coincidentals, but if we're going to be getting 2 and 2, or if Shannon Molson may be getting a further call.
Yeah, I'm curious to see if they'll maybe give her any type of misconduct. Right now they've got 4 up on the clock here inside the MasterCard Center for Molson. But you're right, Sasky. Ultimately, it looked like Brampton were going to be penalized in that sequence. Maybe a rookie, you could see her losing her cool, but you got to think a veteran like Molson, it's tough to criticize her. I really like her game a lot, but she's got to know better in that instance.
So I apologize. I thought we were seeing a Brampton player head to the penalty box just then, but by the looks of it, we're not. And it's just Shannon Molson who's going to be sitting for 4, potentially for a double minor for roughing.
Well, it'll give Brampton a chance to extend their lead. They have a 1-0 lead as Molson in the box for 4 less. So 2 for interference and 2 for roughing. Brampton operate with the advantage. Edney at the point, tees up the one-timer, high and wide, bouncing a high, lively bounce off the glass. And now corralled by Brampton once again. Simmons Makes the pass over to McParland. She's at the far hash marks. Plays it down low to Jones. Edney creeping in. She made her way all the way to the middle of the hash marks from the blue line without being picked up. They never got her the puck, though. Simmons' drive goes wide of the net. They get it over to Edney. Near side, now plays it over to Simmons. Back to Edney, $1:30 left here in the second period. She lifts that one towards the net. It's wide. Vanderbilt got bounced around a little bit there, but play continued on, and I don't think she appreciated that contact. As Edney checked closely, backhands it, and it's a giveaway and a potential 2-on-1 here, shorthanded. Cava and Vela breaking for the Furies. Centered in front for Vela, but Cava couldn't quite get it to her cleanly. Nothing doing on that shorthanded chance. 1 minute left in the second period as Brampton continue with this power play advantage here. Shannon Molson, 2 minor penalties in the box for 4 minutes, but there's only 2:27 left on those 2 minors now as we get a look at that short-handed 2-on-1 chance. A little bit of indecision from Cava. Then you saw the dive from the defender, Simmons. Kind of ended up being a broken down play, but from a Brampton perspective, you got to like the fact that all those white jerseys got back so quickly and were able to prevent any secondary chance from developing. Face off to the left of Knox. It's now behind the cage and picked up by Edney, who's got the only goal in this contest so far. Vint picks it up across the blue line. 39 seconds left in the period. Vint tries to cut to the net, but good defense by Campbell forces her away. Edney fans on the pass, now gets it over to McParland. 28 seconds left in the period. Edney will just chop it towards the goal. Vanderbilt gets a pad on it, and now a chance for Julie Allen to milk the clock, dump it down. Only gets it to Hartwick. Still 15 seconds left here, and a potential 4-on-2 for Brampton. Hartwick picks it up, lets the shot go over top the net. Still there as Tugis gets it. 5 seconds left in the period. Tugis has to get it off, lets the shot go. Nothing doing. Brampton will go into the break with a 1-0 lead, and they will start the third period with $1:37 of power play time. It was a good second period. Both teams getting physical. Both teams creating some offensive opportunities. One of the 2 teams finally scoring a goal, as it's Sarah Edney with a lone goal here in this game. Make sure you stay tuned throughout the intermission here as Sasky Stewart will be joined momentarily by a Toronto Furies player. So we look forward to bringing you that intermission interview as we get a look at Carolyn Prevost. Again, 1-0 the score after 40 minutes of play. The Brampton Thunder lead the Toronto Furies. You're watching on CWHL Live.
Kimmy, you do know that there's only 4 seasons, right?
Then how do you explain the way kids wish away the summer because we can't wait to play in the fall? Or how teammates often become best mates? Or how families happily vacation in Winnipeg in January because that's where the tournament is? So you see, Miss Woods, there is a 5th season, and it's the best season in Canada.
So you're talking about hockey?
Oh, it's more than just talking, Miss Woods.
Scotiabank is proud to support over 5,000 teams in Canada's 5th season.
Here in the second intermission. You have 4 players away at 4 Nations to Brampton 6. How does the team go about adjusting to losing that many players in a lineup?
Yeah, our 4 players are definitely big, heavy hitters for our team. They're very effective, and we definitely feel it. But I feel like we have a very deep team right now. We're adjusting to it, It's a very physical game right now, so we have to adjust and move forward from here.
You have Sonia Vanderbleek in net tonight instead of Christina Kessler. How important has it been to the game so far, her rock-solid performance?
Oh, she's been playing fantastic. She made a fabulous save there on the breakaway. We just have to support her more. She's been saving us quite a bit, and now it's our turn to repay the favor.
Well, we'll tell you in the highlights, that save looks just as good as it did on the bench.
End of the year reel, for sure.
We're definitely not arguing on that one. So you're down 1-0. You've got another period to go. What's your kind of approach? What do you think the team needs to do to come out of this game with a win?
Right now, we got to come out there heavy. We got to play physical, and we got to get a lot of shots on the net right now. I think we've been lacking in that, and get some shots and drive the net for rebounds. So,
brilliant. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
Welcome back to the MasterCard Center for the start of the third period. We'd like to take a quick moment to say hello to everyone that is listening to us, everyone that is watching online, everyone that is in the YouTube chat. Many of you have been saying hello to us. We'd like to say a special hello to Cassandra, who is clearly loving our broadcast today. So thank you for watching and being a fan. Nico, the third period is about to get underway. Brampton are ahead 1-0. What are we going to see happen?
I'll tell you one thing we don't usually see happen, and I'm so glad you just did that. 1-0. You don't usually get that in hockey, the term nil. And I love it, being a soccer guy. So, A, thank you for that. But what are we going to see? That's a great question, Saskia, because it's going to be an exciting third period ahead here. I think we're going to see much of what we've seen through the first 40 minutes of play, which is some pretty stingent defense at times. Brampton has been pretty good defensively, especially after getting the lead there in the second period. However, I do think we'll see some good chances where both goaltenders are tested. We saw Sonia Vanderbleek getting loose there, and for Toronto to have a chance at winning this game, she's going to be called upon here in the third period, and she'll have to make some big saves. Of course, Liz Knox, how could we not talk about her? She's going to have to be clutch here to backstop Brampton to their first win of the season here.
The season for Toronto started here with a 0-0 overtime. Toronto won that, and that was a real goalie duel. And we're looking like we're having that again today. I mean, Brampton are leading 1-0, but this has been a real goalie battle, and I don't expect it to be any different in the third.
Yeah, I think that's certainly what we're in store for here in the third period, and we begin this third period with $1:30 now left on the power play for Brampton, and they capitalize just like that. Rebecca Vince slides at 5-hole, and it's 2-0 Thunder.
The words were barely out of our mouths discussing the excellent goaltenders that we have. And it is a Rebecca Vint goal, did we see here?
Yes.
Rebecca Vint goal. It is 2-0. And we see Toronto's 100% penalty kill. Actually, you know what? I was about to say, yes, Toronto's 100. I looked up for a second there and saw 5 people on the ice and got thrown and realized, obviously, the penalty kill is now over. They were 100% record for the season is done. This is a lot to come back from in a third period.
Well, talk about a quick start there. Just, well, not even 30 seconds in. I think it was just barely over 20 seconds in that goal. And Toronto reeling a little bit. They'll need to find a way back into this one. Otherwise, Brampton could be on their way to their first victory of the season. But yeah, a lot of action right off the hop there. It's interesting with the power play at the end of a period or at the start of a period. You don't always see teams capitalize, but full marks to Brampton as they do. Kelly Terry with a great shot attempt.
Speaking of full marks for Kelly Terry there for that slide and still managing to get that shot up.
Well, that's it. After getting dumped there to continue and make the play, get the shot. I'm surprised she didn't earn the call, but play continues on, and it's Kelly Terry with it on her stick again. That shot attempt blocked, and Toronto will have to start up again from the neutral zone. It's Richards giving chase now for Brampton. She's in there against Terry. Molson gets it to the blue line where that shot attempt from Taylor Haunted Woods goes well wide. There's Jess Vela with a good shot. You had the chance to speak with Vela, and she had a good chance there.
I saw you get that. I heard you get that part of that little fist bump there. You're like, yep, I came up with that one too. Yeah. Good work, Nico. Very impressive on CWHL Halloween there.
Hashtag CWHL Halloween. We get a look at that chance from Jess Vela. Always reliable for a few quality chances every game, Jess Vela. As Nicole Brown got in the way of that shot from Campbell. Saskia, you pointed out the fact that Carly Campbell can let it rip. She drilled Brown with that shot. I think Brown was smirking a little bit.
I would not want to be in front of or having to block a Carly Campbell shot. That looks like that's an easy way to potentially break something.
No treats in that one, eh?
Not at all.
As Brampton will dump it in here. Vanderbeek thought about playing it. She leaves it for Stewart. Evades one check. Gets it over to Campbell. Near side to Lamoureux. Good pass right to Dingeldine. Across the blue line. Checks her options. Centers in front. Oh, what a save, Knox.
Knox gets that pad out there, and it's still 2-0 to Brampton.
Cava with a great opportunity. There's a block shot. Bouncing puck in front as Toronto applying some pressure here, trying to make their mark. Off the bench was Erin Zach, but she couldn't get that one on goal. As lifted out to center ice, Toronto will start up again. Good sequence there from the Furies, and if it wasn't for the fact of some great goaltending from Knox and some gutsy shot blocking, they might have struck back. Brampton trying to increase the lead. Vint applying some pressure after McParland forced a turnover. Vint off the boards, back to the point for Edney, who opened up the scoring. That shot deflected, redirected wide of the cage by McParland. Simmons, near side point, steps into it, off the skates of a Toronto defender, and now Lamoureux chips it out of the zone to center ice, where Brampton will start up once again. Edney, good stretch pass, just it was on the reach of McParland, but I think she's called offside there. Stoppage with 16:28 left in the period. Get another look at the chance there for the Furies just moments ago. Michelle Cava couldn't quite best Liz Knox on that chance.
I have to admit, as someone who's been around the league for a little while now, every time I see that 44 on Toronto, my instinct
Corey
is
Chevry.
I'm like, it's Corey.
Right?
No, it's not.
I know, me
so
too.
used to seeing Corey Chevry in that 44. Several times today I've almost been like, and that's a great shot from not Corey Chevry.
Well, and it's funny because Dingeldine plays such a similar style. The body makeup, it gets me literally every time too, Sassy.
It's okay,
That's
you're
so
not
funny.
the only one.
I was wondering because there's a few times where I have almost called out Corey Chevry's name, and of course we're wishing her all the best now in the coaching ranks of the CIS. I guess U Sport now is what they're going by. Is that shot from the point not quite on goal? Now Molson hammers one, and that's blocked by Edney, but kept in at the line by Molson. But yeah, Corey Chevry, of course, so many years wearing 44 in that blue jersey, and I think we both felt for Carolyn Prevost right there.
I'm not 100% sure that was in camera angle, but that is a kind of, we've seen that quite a lot from Caroline
her,
Prevost.
yes.
That's a very famous move, the Caroline Prevost semi-splits that she pulls.
Yep, the
I'm
one
not sure how she does it.
You know, you see players drop down to one knee to get some leverage on the one-timer. You never see anyone do the splits except for 27 on Toronto, and she just missed the one-timer on that last one. Stewart back to retrieve it now for the Furies. Brampton applying some pressure. Becca King comes up with it, and Stewart banks it off the near boards, kept in at least for the time being. Hartwick spins away from one check, plays it to King, gets it right out to Richards, but then she hasn't picked off her stick, and here comes McKenzie for the Furies. McKenzie dangles her way around one, but with two more white sweaters on her, nothing doing there. Some nice flashes there, though, from Victoria McKenzie. Out of the scrum, shot from distance, easy save for Vanderbeek as Hartwick at the end of her shift just let it fly. 14:25 left in the third period of play. It's a 2-0 Brampton Thunder lead here on CWHL Live as the Toronto Furies trying to defend home ice. They're in a hole right now, and they're going to be in a hole here on the ice as Michelle Cava called for the penalty, Brampton going back to the power play. Toronto will be shorthanded.
Toronto are brilliant, and we've discussed this several times so far today. Toronto are a brilliant team on the penalty kill. They've got a very strong defensive unit. Maybe a little less strong today with the loss of Ambrose and Fast. But here's another opportunity to see how they can do. Hopefully they take the opportunity to settle down a little bit, to play the systems that they rely on, and come out of this still only 2-0 down.
Well, and I got to think that even though, as you mentioned, they are down 2-0, head coach Summer West, when she puts a player like Prevost and Terry out there to start this penalty kill, she's not specifically just going to a defensive shell. She wants to create some shorthanded offense here if they can with those speedy players out there. Now in the meantime, they'll have to defend as Prevost comes up with it now and gets it to the speedy Terry. Let's see if they can create some offense shorthanded. Fedit tried to get it back in front of Prevost, but that's broken up by McParland. Suzuki, instead of shooting it on net, will just hammer it down, and 45 seconds off the power play already, so pretty effective kill thus far for Toronto. Tugas will dump that one in as Campbell gloves the puck down. She's checked closely, gets it to the line, but no further as Edney steps in to hold the zone. McCauley, cross ice to Simmons, gets it right back to the Rook, who steps into the slot, lets the backhander go, and that one's turned away by Vanderbeek. 45 seconds left on the Brampton power play. Tugas back to the point for Edney, right back to the rookie forward. 94 steps down and gets it to number 9, Richards, who steps in off the wall, ran out of real estate and couldn't quite get it on goal. Player dumped. Here comes a shorthanded chance. Jess Vella in all alone. Oh, she's hauled down. Nets off. I think that's the only whistle, but Sasky, we're both a little bit perplexed. Maybe we saw skates taken out. We saw a penalty just called for those same 2 infractions, and here the play continues on.
I think the difference, we're going to see a replay right here, so let's just watch this one through. Give us a chance to see it again. I think the difference here is that when Bella does fall, she's already so close to the goaltender that scoring chance maybe had already eventuated at that point. It's a bit of a 50-50 call.
It's a tough call.
You know,
No
you may
doubt.
feel a bit wrong that it should have been a penalty, and if it had been a penalty, you may feel right that it shouldn't have been as well.
And to be fair, that chance was created because of a play at the Toronto blue line where 2 Brampton players, one had her feet taken out, so how do you call one and not the other? It's a very tough job.
These things often tend to work themselves out in the
Yes,
wash.
not an egregious miss by any means, a judgment
definitely
call.
not.
And
It should have been a couple of meters earlier
Yes.
when those feet had gone out from underneath her. We'd be arguing for a penalty shot here. She's
Absolutely.
completely unimpeded. But this situation, a little bit different.
Well, here's a chance now developing for the Furies. Kelly Terry directs it towards the goal, but Prevost, who was checked very closely, had her stick lifted, and that play snuffed out as McParland tries to gain the zone. Gets it deep as Woods knocked down, tried to get it into the corner, but it's at center ice where fielding Montgomery will bring it in with the support of Rongsberg. Rongsberg puts it on goal. Easy save for Vanderbeek. 11:30 now left here in the third period as Brampton maintain this 2-0 lead. Montgomery plays it down low to Brown, who gets it back to the point. The one-timer attempt by Hartwick. Either a flimsy piece of timber or she just didn't quite get everything on it. Now she lets it fly. Rebound, and Vanderbeek still makes the second save. Good chances here for Brampton. Toronto maybe feeling a little bit pressed right now. They try, clear it out. Jess Vella, like a bulldog in a china shop, just plowing through whatever's in her way, and eventually play comes to a stoppage on the offside.
As not the tallest person around, I'm very appreciative of that, the fact that they sent me both Jess Jones and Jess Vella today to interview, because they're definitely on the shorter end of the spectrum, but they're both players that have an incredible tenacity and a physicality within the women's game. And I really respect that and really enjoy watching that from players like that.
As Toronto dump it in, we got to look at that last Brampton opportunity. It was fielding Montgomery with the shot on goal. 10:35 remaining here in the third. McCauley brings it in for Brampton. Sharp angle shot, doesn't quite get to the net, as getting in the way of that one was Gaskin. Far side boards, Becca King tries to center it, picked off by Cava. You talk about maybe players a little smaller in stature, but not at all short in grit and tenacity. Cava, a rookie with Toronto, she's starting to make her impact. She hops over the boards here. Toronto will break out. Gaskin, Dingle-Dean back to Gaskin. Toronto, shot from distance, right on. Knox will have to hold that with Lamoureux bearing down on her. And Brampton continue to hold this 2-0 lead and are now 9:57 away from their first win of the year.
It's unfortunate. Unfortunate is probably the wrong word in this situation, but Brampton aren't a 0-4 team.
Yes.
And the start of their season has really kind of given, I think in many ways, the wrong impression about the absolute talent level that is on this team.
Totally.
Their third place last season came down to the final game of the season against Calgary. And then they showed incredibly well in the playoffs. And we're talking about a team that came back from being out of the Clarkson playoffs the year before. So I think the 0-4 record has been, and the scheduling, a little bit unfortunate for them.
Yeah, it's certainly not reflective of the potential of that team this season. You mentioned them, the success they had last year. Sure, ultimately they don't win the Clarkson Cup, but they had a great showing getting into the playoffs, their playoff series against Calgary, as Dingle-Dean brings this one in for the Furies. She's knocked off the puck, and there's some good defense from Sarah Edney, and here comes Jess Jones for Brampton. But yeah, you know, just because they've had a slow start, I don't think you write Brampton off by any means. I think they're very much a playoff-bound team this season, and a contender for the Clarkson Cup if things break their way, if they have a fully healthy season and everyone produces to their maximum potential.
I think this year's playoff picture looks to be very wide open. We obviously have two teams in Montreal and Calgary that we know are incredibly strong.
Yep.
But you just have to look at the changes that have happened in Toronto. I think there are 17 new players on the Boston Blades team. We're looking at some teams and some big changes, and I think that kind of 3-4 spot this year is going to be a battle that comes right down, once again, possibly to that last weekend.
Yeah, I'm totally with you on that. I think it's going to be really intriguing to watch how it plays out throughout the year as that puck into the Toronto bench. So we get a break with 8:24 left here in the third period, and it gives me a chance to do a little housekeeping and remind everyone that you can get some great merch at the CWHL website, but we also appreciate the corporate backing of some of our great sponsors like Dairy Farmers of Canada, Fueling Women's Champions Program, Sportsnet Bauer, Tim Hortons, Molson Coors, so many great corporate partners that we will continue to praise throughout the show as Just Bella breaks in here.
I must recommend getting some of that merchandise. I own, I believe, possibly at least half of all of it.
And not only does it look good, it's comfy.
I think I have.
It's so comfy.
I think I have 3 different CWHL hoodies. Every time they come out with a new one, I'm like, oh, I need another black sweater.
I'm surprised you don't have like one for each team, depending on what rink you're at each time.
I stick to the neutral league.
That's probably smart.
Stuff,
yeah.
But there is some absolutely beautiful team stuff out there. I cannot recommend highly getting enough of it, especially with Christmas coming.
Oh, good point. Makes a great gift for the hockey fan in your life.
And the fan who isn't yet a hockey fan, but you are going to make a CWHL fan.
We appreciate you tuning in this evening to CWHL Live as we've got 7:15 remaining here in this third period. It's the Toronto Furies skating left to right on your screen, wearing those blue home jerseys, trailing 2-0 against the Brampton Thunder as Erin Zach picks up that loose puck at center. She gets it near side to Lamoureux. Toronto in a deficit right now, but they're spirited and they keep pressing on. They've created some good chances. They just haven't been able to solve Liz Knox quite yet. They've come close. A couple of good crossbars and a couple of really quality chances that just went wide or couldn't quite beat the Brampton goaltender. There's a shot from Gaskin. Not quite enough juice on it, and Vint has a chance to skate out here.
Knox has been amazing so far this game, and we actually have the luxury of having replays up here, and obviously you at home do as well. But as I was walking back downstairs, Sammy Jo Small actually asked me about that Emily Flippin goal. She was like, how close was it? I was like, very, very close.
Prevost steps in, lets it go, big rebound. Nothing doing, that's great defense there. As stepping in to support the goaltender, rookie Taylor Woods. Away that juicy rebound. Prevost continues to buzz for the Furies. There she puts it back to the point. Molson tees it up, that one's blocked. Kept in by Molson, her second shot blocked. And again, the rookie line for Brampton coming up big here. Centered. Tugas, her shot stopped by Stewart as she was set up by Haley Williams. Really like the chemistry that Brampton has here with these three rookies all together. Tugas, Brown, and Williams as they dump it in, and now two of the three will peel off for a change. Gives Toronto a chance to clear the zone. They do on the second effort, and Brampton maintain possession now. Little over 5 minutes left here in the third. Cava scoops it up, gets around one check, gains the zone. She's got Allen heading to the net, lets it go. Great glove save from Liz Knox. Quick release from Cava, quick save from Knox.
Yeah, Knox has been, as we discussed many times so far today, Knox has been an absolute war, and it must give a team like Brampton a lot of confidence knowing that they have such a solid goaltender behind Erica Howe.
That's a really good point, Sasky, and we saw that tandem being crucial for Brampton and their success last year at times. Even though Howe maybe supplanting herself, making herself the number one down the stretch last year, that knowing you have a quality backup like Knox, it's huge. And you can see how it's helped Brampton here this evening in this tight contest, physical contest, as bodies continue to clash and bang. And now Allen comes up with it. Gutsy shot block there by McCauley. And with 4:35 left here, Toronto continues to try apply pressure. Cava had her pocket pick, but then a great play to keep the puck in the zone. Brampton, Simmons makes the pass to McCauley, center ice, but no further as Cava lifts that one in, and Knox will have to come out of her net to play it. Dania Simmons makes the pass to the far side. Sarah Edney, who stands to have the game-winning goal right now. She opened up the scoring 3-4 minutes into that second period as we got a whistle here. I think the puck may hit a Brampton player. 4:03 left in the third.
So we've talked a lot about Liz Knox this evening. I've actually got a great Liz Knox story for you. It's actually quite funny. Obviously, my accent gives me away. I'm not Canadian. I am Australian. And Liz Knox actually came to Australia, and I helped recruit her to come to Australia many years ago to play in the Australian Women's Ice Hockey League with one of our Melbourne teams. I believe they won everything that year, and she was a brick wall for them, and everything was wonderful.
Well, that's not funny. That's realistic. I could see Liz Knox playing incredible in goal and them winning.
Liz particularly
you made me laugh, so maybe it was funny.
Particularly in Australia.
No,
We're
yeah,
not bad, but Liz Knox is way better.
Yeah, I could see her. You know, it's funny to watch her dominate here at times in this league. You were right too. Imagine how well she would perform at an international league where it's maybe not as developed.
Definitely not. Look, the Australian women's team is significantly better than its men's team, and that's also potentially because there's a different amount of teams competing in those categories. But Liz Knox was an absolute standout down in Australia, and it's really great to kind of see her here, or back here nowadays, and it's kind of come full circle for me watching.
They've got a timeout called here. I believe it was the Furies bench calling the timeout. 3:25 left here, and actually, yeah, the Thunder, it is Tyler Fines getting the call. So interesting that with 3:25 left and on a defensive zone draw, he opts to use it now. That could be a bit of a boost for Summer West, who still has her timeout in her back pocket here.
And it gives them a great chance as well. I mean, you roll the dice on these kind of occasions. You know you're up 2-0. We've all seen how a 2-0 lead can end in a hockey game, particularly in women's hockey.
2-goal lead, worst league in hockey.
My apologies to any Americans that are listening to this broadcast. roll the dice on this one. You get your chance to reconvene your team, but you also give the other team a chance. Maybe that play that they draw up, maybe that quick check they get, that's what it takes them. But, maybe if it was 2-1, it would be a little bit dicey. But I think when you've got a 2-0 lead, you're kind of okay, we'll take this chance. Give your players a bit of a breather, particularly when you're down on the defensive end.
And I think
that's got to be what Fines is thinking.
Yeah, and I think you're right there, especially right at the end. It's been such a taxing, demanding game for both these teams, but the Blue Lines especially. I think he wanted to give his team a bit of a breather as there's a bouncer right in on goal. Vanderbeek wanted to play it, but they whistle it down, so this faceoff will stay in the Toronto zone as we're approaching the final few minutes here of the third period of play. Can the Furies come back from this 2-0 deficit here on home ice, or will Brampton pick up their first victory of this CWHL season? They're minutes away from finding out as the Thunder tried to direct the puck towards goal, but now Kelly Terry comes out of the scrum with it, cuts past a couple defenders, forced into the near corner, and then just has to dump the puck away as she had pressure bearing down on her. Montgomery scoops up that loose puck and stood up at the blue line by Molson. Montgomery now called over to the bench, so head coach Tyler Fines finally manipulating the lines here in the final couple moments of the game. Not every pun has to be Halloween themed.
No, look, and obviously not every pun has to be good.
Well, clearly we know that. Hey, I mean, there's a one-timer shot.
Any pun is a good pun in my books. They're my old go-to, so I'm not going to cast too much judgment for that one there, Nico.
Here comes Becca King. She doesn't catch the break, but I'll take the break there. Thanks, Saskia. I appreciate that. As here Julie Allen gets it over to Campbell. 2 minutes left here in regulation, and it's now on the stick of number 2. Julie Allen dances her way into the far corner. Tied up, and coming out with it is Hartwick. She gets it to center ice, but not much further. Here comes Michelle Cava. 3-on-2. Cava cuts to the net. Big rebound. Oh, the defender crashing back to Knox. They keep it out of the net, and hard to tell if the Brampton defender Hartwick is laboring at all. I think she's good, and ultimately they end up stopping a menacing chance there from the Furies with $1:45 left here in the third period, and this face-off coming up to the left of Liz Knox. We'll keep an eye on Sonia Vanderbeek with just $1:45 left. We'll see if she leaves the net here at any point. For the time being, it's still 5 skaters aside. Jess Vella back to the point for Campbell. Carly Campbell, nearly ran into Vella. The two sidestep each other. Julie Allen supported by Cava. Cava dumped behind the goal. Play continues on. $1:25 left in the game. Regulation, I should say. As Jones brings it across the blue line. Jess Jones! Big rebound. Toronto picks it up. Suzuki had to be weary of Jones behind her, and with just 1:10 left here in the third, Toronto, they're going to have some urgency. Lamoureux, still no sign of Vanderbeek heading to the bench. Icing the indication, and that would be why, with 59.3 seconds left here.
The whistle goes just as the clock ticks under the minute mark for the final minute in the third period here. By the looks of it, Sonia Vanderbeek is going to stay in net. Obviously, with the puck coming down into the Furies' defensive zone, you're not going to take your goaltender out there. And Vanderbeek wasn't looking to the bench, wasn't looking for Summer West to make that call. Yep. So I think in this situation, they really were like, we're just going to leave it the way we are and just try and play out this last minute, see what they can make happen, but kind of not take that risk of being put behind 3-0.
Well, and of course, these two teams will be back in action tomorrow. They still have a couple of series left in the season, so far from done in terms of head-to-head this year, but it looks like Brampton will continue on with the success they had last year versus Toronto. 40 seconds left here in the third period. Shannon Molson holds it in. That shot knocked away by the paddle of Knox, and now Lamoureux goes cross ice, well read by the rookie McCauley, and breaks that one up because Carly Campbell is creeping in from the far point. With just 20 seconds left here, Toronto time for maybe one last chance. Campbell will dump it in from distance wide of the cage. Woods will bank it off the glass and out. That'll pretty much do it. Well, it was an interesting contest, and when two closely matched rivals get together, it's often not much that separates them. That was the case here tonight. 2-0 the final score. Congratulations to the Brampton Thunder, their first win of the season. And despite the fact that it's a losing result, congratulations to head coach Summer West on her 100th game coached behind the bench for the Toronto Furies.
I mean, it's obviously not how Summer would like one of these kind of games, particularly something like her 100th game to end. But it was still a great game that we saw there. And Toronto can take a lot from how strong they played with the absence of someone like Natalie Spooner. It feels really weird to call a game such a Toronto game like this and not say Natalie Spooner as we're so used to doing.
And it's such a good point, especially there in the last 3-4 minutes of the game. As great as Spooner is through all 60 minutes, that's almost where she's most impactful, and you can almost feel it. As great as Kelly Terry was creating offense, as great as so many of the other, Just Vela, so many of the other Furies forwards, you really felt the absence of Spooner today for the Furies.
If I'm the Toronto Maple Leafs, well,
we appreciate their support of the Calgary
we appreciate the Toronto Maple Leafs support as well as all of our NHL partners. But if I'm the Toronto Furies, the big thing I'm taking out of today is, as much as the Brampton Thunder are taking out of the play of Liz Knox, is how solid Sonia Vanderbeek. It is a 2-0 score, but Sonia Vanderbeek stood on her head for large portions of that game and really gives them a solid second goaltender for the team there.
Well, the Furies salute the home crowd. Tough result for the Furies fans. The Brampton Thunder walk off the ice with their first victory of the season. A great contest, and these two teams will be back at it again tomorrow.
Yes, they're back with us tomorrow. Well, they're not back with us, unfortunately. This is this week's CWHL live game. We are off next week because with the Four Nations starting this week, we have a weekend off. Turn your eyes to the Four Nations. We have 21 of the 24 players are from CWHL teams. So the players you know and love are going to be representing Canada at this weekend, at this week's tournament. But one of the other big things, and I've completely lost my train of thought because they've just turned a light on us here and they've turned the cameras onto us to wrap up this here. And I must admit, I got a little bit starry-eyed and we've wandered the wrong way. They're now doing the 3 stars here in the game. Sonia Vanderbeek is your second star.
Of course, these are your Tim Hortons 3 stars.
They are your Tim Hortons 3-star. You get a very nice Tim Hortons voucher, which you can, and we know how much hockey players love themselves some Tim Hortons. I went on a bus up north with the Toronto Furies one day, and I was impressed with how they could knock down some Tim Hortons.
It's tradition, right? Hockey, Saturday night, Tim Hortons. You don't get much more Canadian than that.
I don't think so.
It was a great game tonight. Good result for Brampton. Next CWHL live broadcast, I believe, is what, November 19th, I believe?
The next CWHL live broadcast, I believe, is November 19th, and I cannot remember off the top of my head where we are.
I believe it's Montreal at Brampton. Yeah, we're in Brampton for that one.
Okay, so we're in Brampton. We'll have Montreal. You'll have Marie-Philippe Poulin and not Carolina Led. She isn't going anywhere. Poulin is way. We won't be in costume, unfortunately. You will have Maria Papadakis back to be joining you for that broadcast. If you do want to follow the rematch of this game, they're in Brampton tomorrow at 1:30, and get out to that game. It's a great game. I actually went out to the Brampton rink for the first time recently, and it is one of the most beautiful rinks I have been into from a kind of traditional sense.
It's a classic rink,
It's a classic
barn. Yes.
It's a classic barn, and I know
exactly what you mean. It's got the old feel, classic Canadian hockey barn. So yeah, head out to Brampton tomorrow. Check out the rematch here between the Thunder and the Furies. Tonight's final score, Toronto loses 2-0 to the Brampton Thunder. And before we say thank you and goodbye to all you fine folks at home, let's give a big thanks to our continued support from our sponsors of the CWHL, including the Dairy Farmers of Canada Fueling Women's Champions Program, Sportsnet, Bauer, Tim Hortons, Molson Coors, the Golden Mail, Bridgeforce, Porter, Gong Show Gear, the Calgary Flames, the Montreal Canadiens, the Toronto Maple Leafs, the Ottawa Senators, Campari, 2XU, and Complete Concussion Management.
And we must thank Hilberg and Burke, who are empowering this entire season of CWHL Live. So big thank you to them for bringing these broadcasts to you every week for the 2016-17 season.
Thank you, Hilberg and Beck. And of course, to all the fans at home, thank you for tuning in. We appreciate you tweeting us, getting in touch with us throughout the broadcast. We hope you enjoyed the show. For Steve Mitchell, for Saskia Stewart, for everyone behind the scenes, I'm Nico Cardarelli. We'll see you next time on CWHL Live.